What is the fastest way to stop depending on referrals and get to 10K a month when you're a B2B consultant, business coach, or agency owner who's just starting out? Maybe you've been lingering for a while at under 5K a month, or you're still employed and would like to get your first few clients as a solo consultant. Whatever the case, this will be your blueprint for getting to six figures in the fastest possible way. And this blueprint does not depend on your friends and your network. And not only will it quickly get you to 10K a month, but it will also give you ample peace of mind, because you will know that you can always get back to this level if you ever lose a client in the future. That's the beauty of having client acquisition systems in place. My name is Michael Bohannes. I help consultants build client acquisition systems and stop depending on referrals. And why should you listen to me? Do I have any authority on this subject? Well, after I was fired from my last job, I depended on my network and my referrals for a very long time. And that got me to an average of 5K a month, which was enough for me to live on at the time. And so I became a bit comfortable then. And then suddenly 2 years into my solopreneur existence, my referrals suddenly dried up. And I had to figure out how I could win strangers as clients. And that forced me to learn how to build client acquisition systems. And with that, I've built a 40K a month business that now gets about half of our clients from complete strangers who 2 to 3 weeks prior didn't know that we existed. And so my goal with this video for you is to level the playing field for you and overcome the relative disadvantage you may have vis-a-vis those consultants who hit it out of the park right from the start. Now, I don't know if you know these people. I regularly meet them, and it's quite infuriating because they quit a corporate job and somehow miraculously, their network gives them a very, very cushy existence right from the start. Only yesterday, I spoke with a prospect who 15 months into his business is making 180K in revenue per month, thanks to the network that he cultivated in his previous job. Another guy I met is a McKinsey consultant who makes $750,000 a year, working 30 hours a week. So if you don't have what these guys have, then this video will be very useful to you. So let's get into it. You need 3 principles and 2 actions. Very simple. The first principle is the rule of one. One avatar, one product. That is so crucial. It's the core foundation of successful client getting. Limiting yourself to one single use case means that your offer becomes much sharper, and you will be able to get the reps in to refine how you sell. It's such an obvious thing, and it took me such a long time to understand this basic truth and live accordingly. But I was a total amateur compared to one guy I spoke to recently. He's offering digital marketing to SMEs. Okay. First, SMEs are not a niche. Okay. Nothing is a niche that has tens of millions potential customers. An SME can be anything from a crypto bro to a hairdresser salon, right? It's far too broad. And digital marketing used to be a thing in 1999, but now you're considered far too broad and generalist if you offer YouTube organic and YouTube ads, right? Digital marketing is not a thing that you sell, right? And so if digital marketing for SMEs makes you laugh and you think that you would never do that, well, then do have a quick think about what you are offering. Recently, I spoke to a very smart HR consultant who was selling 3 different solutions to 3 different avatars. And on the call, he told me how he's working on a 4th thing to sell. And I noticed that there is a strong correlation between revenue size and how focused the business owner is. Those with the broadest offering invariably make less money. Every variation of what you sell introduces friction. And when you're starting out, sales calls are few and far in between. You will make far more progress in the sophistication with which you sell if you only sell one service package than if you sell different solutions to different avatars. Now, how narrow does one avatar, one product have to be? I have a simple heuristic for it. Requirement 1, there need to be enough potential target clients in the world that you can contact 100 of them every day and not run out of leads for 6 months. So ideally, you'd be looking at a niche size of 30,000 people, but with this 100 of them every day for 6 months, that means some 13, 14,000. It would be good. You can make it work with fewer, but then as you contact them, you need to personalize more. You need to do a better job at getting them. With 100, you can do a reasonably scaled outreach. The fewer it gets, the fewer you can contact, the more you have to personalize. And of course, they need to tick the basic boxes of niche selection, reasonably easy to find. They need to have money. You're interested in that niche and you're happy to, so to speak, marry it. You have credibility with them. Competitors exist in this niche. The decision maker doesn't perceive you to be a threat, and so on. All of these criteria don't have to be ticked perfectly, but most of them should. And requirement 2, the problem you're solving needs to be affecting at least 20% of the target audience at any point in time. So Let's take a few examples. OKR implementation consulting for health tech startups in Belgium. It's too narrow. Not enough target clients. Requirement 1 is not met. There will not be 10,000 health tech startups in Belgium. Probably not even in Europe. Then, visual design and branding for SME manufacturing companies. That, I would surmise, is not a frequent enough problem. An SME thinks about visual design and branding maybe once every 2 years. So in any given 1 to 2 month window, which is when you can sell to them, when you could enter the company, only 2 to 5% of companies have bandwidth and are in their correct mind to deal with this topic. That means requirement 2 is not met. At any time, the problem needs to be affecting at least 20% of the target audience. By the way, all of this, when I say these 2 things to requirements, it does not mean that you can never change your avatar or your product, or that you cannot accept inbound clients who ask you for something different than that one niche offer combo that you proactively sell. Of course, you can change what you sell and to whom you sell it. But here's the key thing. Do not change it before you have given one niche offer combination a really good shot. Let's say you have at least contacted 1,000 people using at least 5 variations of your offer and trying out different angles. Okay, so once you've done this, you've contacted 1,000 people, you've given them your offer, you try different variations of the email using 2 batches of 200. If you have not made a sale out of this, then yes, probably this does not work. Or at least, let's say you have not at least booked a couple of solid calls with people who could indeed be your target audience. In that case, you need to change the product and the avatar. And you can, of course, accept inbound leads. For example, people who come as referrals for anything. We all have to put food on the table, and rejecting clients only becomes a topic when you have sufficient reserves to take a stab at scaling your business. So you can keep a big range of stuff you offer to clients reactively, but proactively, outbound, which is what we'll be discussing today, you only offer one product to one avatar. But the rule of 1, as important as it is, isn't enough. The second principle is that you also need to have a good offer. Now, principle 2, we need an attractive offer. An offer is the thing you put in front of a stranger that will make them raise their eyebrows and go, oh, interesting. Yeah, it sounds good. Let's talk about that. And that's another thing many consultants get wrong. I recently received this pitch that read, "Hi, Michael. We are an experienced blockchain consulting firm specializing in metaverse and NFTs, DeFi, whatever that is, banking, exchange, wallets, and a range of enterprise blockchain solutions. We'll be glad to tell you more about them. Can we connect?" Okay, there's all. And I put this meme of Brian Regan, who makes this skit about the meme monster. This is a classic meme monster approach message. This happens so often. People only talk about themselves and how great they are. It's even better if they say, oh, we're a multi-award winning agency or something. I don't care about your awards. I care about what you can do for me. And so this kind of approach will get very few responses. So a good offer shows that the salesperson knows of your pain points and makes you a bold promise to alleviate those pain points. Our offer is, we help B2B consultants solve client acquisition problems forever and stop depending on referrals. If you're using our systems within 6 months, don't make at least $50,000 in new revenue, we won't get paid. That's a clear pain point, depending on referrals, and a bold promise. You will make $50,000 in new revenue within 6 months. A good offer is basically nothing but value targeted at a specific target audience, and value itself is very well defined by the Alex Hormozi value formula, which is this: dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice. You promise something great to them, you give them signals that it's very likely that they will achieve this, and you say it's going to be in a short amount of time and it will not take much effort and sacrifice. Now, you can never fulfill this completely. You cannot tell them you're going to be a billionaire tomorrow if you sign up with us. Okay, that's too easy. No time delay, no effort and sacrifice. It just gets not credible. But the more you can reduce time delay and effort and sacrifice, the more value you give and the easier it is going to be to sell it. And I talk a lot more about how to create a good B2B offer in this video, where I break down Alex Hormozi's value equation. So it's this video, so check it out. If you want more details, the link is going to be in the description below. And principle 3, personalization through video. A lot of your success will hinge on outbound, as we will discuss shortly. You can do outbound through LinkedIn DMs and cold calling, but I found the best methods to be cold email that includes a personalized video where you are talking to the prospect directly. With this method, at a reasonable scale, I added between 15 to 20K in monthly revenue to my business. And to run it, I'm paying virtual assistants about 10% of that. So it's a very well, profitable and high margin endeavor here. Creating a truly personalized Loom video in your cold email creates a massive unfair advantage. And why? First of all, it's still extremely underused. I haven't received a personalized Loom video, truly personalized, probably ever. And sometimes I get those that pretend to be personalized and they're not really. And I receive maybe one a month, if that. And I'm very out there. People contact me with cold email all the time, but actual personalized Looms never happen, and Looms happen quite rarely. So you, by doing this, and if you're a reasonably charismatic person on camera, you can make up for the absence of a key ingredient in prospecting and sales that you, now that you're at the early stages of your journey, naturally lack, and that is trust. You can make up for a lack of trust by using personalized video. Because when we receive a text-only message, we have no idea what the other person is like. Are we going to like them? Even a short 1-minute introduction video can completely obliterate this question, or at least massively reduce the likelihood that we will not like the person approaching us. And since a lot of your success will depend on cold outreach, and we'll get to that in a moment, you can stand out head and shoulders over your competitors who send traditional text-only cold messages. And those who do send a video, either send a generic one or just where they say, hi, this is John, and here's what we could do for you, blah, blah, blah. Or they send something fake personalized with AI where they mumble and they just butcher your name. So instead, if you make an actual personalized video for every person individually, yes, it will take time, but it will give you far higher response rate. We get 5 to 7 times higher response rates on our personalized videos than on generic ones, which is why we have now completely stopped sending the non-personalized videos. The other method is more work intensive, but it also works. Now, when you start, you're going to be tempted by a bunch of useless tasks like doing your website and branding and logo and so on. Don't focus on any of these. The only 2 things that you need to do, now that we've covered those 3 core principles, the only 2 things you need is outreach and content. And I know I should be recommending outreach via LinkedIn because that's the drum I've been beating for a while now, but LinkedIn has one big limitation, which is numbers. Realistically, you can only approach 50, maybe 100 people on LinkedIn per week. That's at a stretch. With cold email, you can approach 200 people a day, so 10 times as much. I just like the scalability of that. And since I promised you a fast solution, this is it. Yes, you have to buy domains and set up cold email addresses, and it'll cost you a bit, but you will get rewarded with a much more scalable operation at the end. That 1 extra week of effort is totally worth it. So let's get into it. First, we need to set up our cold emailing infrastructure. Buy 3 domains that are variations on your business. So if your business is called Alpha Lead Academy, buy domains like Get Alpha Lead Academy or buyalphaleadacademy.com, and only stick to .coms or the top level domain that you use with your real website. So if you use a .com, buy .coms. Redirect them to your actual website. So if I get Alpha Lead Academy, I make a redirect so that then people land on alphaleadacademy.com. On each of those domains, create 5 email addresses, either with variations of your own name, Michael Bohannes, Mike Bohannes, M Bohannes, whatever, or use your friends or family members' names. It does not really matter. Those will be your cold email accounts. And we need cold email accounts because if you send cold emails with your existing email account, it might impact your real domain. Like if some people will click on spam, and then gradually your own actual domain will get impacted. Once you set up those email accounts, you'll have 15 of them now. Use a service like instantly.ai to warm them up. That's standard practice so that the email addresses appear legit and they can be in use in a few weeks. So let that run, let the warm up run for 4 to 6 weeks. And in the meantime, we will focus on warm outreach and content, but it's important that we did this first. Now, I know that this is a very short summary of the whole process. We can help you set it up if you work with us. We have a 2-hour video just on the setup process, but I totally get it. If you cannot afford or you don't want to work with us, it's fine. I hope this serves as the first kind of starting point for you. This is what you need to do, okay? Okay, step 2. While the addresses are warming up, we do warm outreach to people who we already know. So we want to make sure that everybody in your network knows what you do. And I have a super detailed video out that shows exactly how you do warm outreach. So I recommend you watch that. This is what it looks like. The link will again be in the show notes below. And then you start cold emailing. Once you've done this outreach following this recipe, you start with cold. We always want to start with warm because they're easier to access, but then we start cold. You will need LinkedIn Sales Navigator and a tool called Everboot. Also, all the links will be in the show notes. Everboot.com to scrape email addresses. And I don't have any affiliate relationship with them. I just think they're great and they're doing a good job. And the process is simple. You find a good target audience on Sales Navigator and you give that URL to Everboot, which will extract the email addresses from the leads that you want to approach. And let's start with creating a list of 200 people to start with. Okay, so 200 clean, validated email addresses. And Everboot tells you if the email address is valid and good to send to. Then step 4, write your cold email. I'm not going to give you mine because that's the special sauce, but the key building blocks of a good cold email are this. First of all, no fluff, cut to the chase. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to be funny or anything like that. Just say, hey, my name is Michael. I would like to win you as a client, something like that. Okay. Then personalization only if it's relevant to what you sell. I recommend against doing something like, oh, I see you from Baltimore, go Ravens and stuff like that. It's horrible. Then include your offer, ideally with ROI attached to it. What is the result that you can promise them? And it doesn't always have to be a financial result. For example, one of our clients, he sells companies, his offer is about better employee hiring processes and so on. And he offers reduced churn and a better Glassdoor review within 1 year. Okay, that's a great result, a worthwhile result that companies will happily pay for. Don't include any images, not even in your signature. Zero HTML in the cold email. Also, no links except for the unique personalized Loom link. And then include a personalized Loom video as discussed in the video. Also cut to the chase after maximum 30 seconds of personalization and showing that you are real. Then go straight into what you offer. Okay, brevity is paramount. People don't know you. They don't want to spend time on you. So cut to the chase ASAP. Send this to the people on your list and make sure to follow up 3 times. Follow-ups don't have to be anything fancy. Just ask if they had a chance to watch the video. And in the last email, don't say anything that could make them conclude that it's the last email. Now, email the 200 people. If you don't get at least 2 sales calls booked from this, I mean, 1 at a stretch. If you just get 1 and that 1 is relevant, then you can continue. But if you do not get at least 1, preferably 2, change one of the variables, either the email and the offer or the target audience. And then you do this over and over until you find a combination that works. And when you say that works, it means it books you calls with prospective clients who are relevant, right? They might not say yes to you, but at least they will be relevant and they will have the problem that you can solve. So now that we've covered outreach, this is the kind of outreach that you have to do. The second big chunk of work, relatively smaller though, is content. And not just any content. We will focus on what I call funnel lubricants. I'll do a longer deep dive on those as well at some point, but here's the high level. Funnel lubricants are pieces of content that are designed to anticipate objection to your service, clarify misconceptions or erroneous assumptions that clients sometimes have, and that showcase your expertise in the particular area. Now, when you look at my YouTube channel, most of the videos that you will find, especially the recent ones, are funnel lubricants. So this one isn't. This one is a little bit broader. For example, look at this video. I made this video because a frequent objection I get is that people want done-for-you lead gen service. They don't want to build their own client acquisition systems. And I have personally my reservations about it. And in this video, why it's so hard to work with B2B lead gen agencies, I explain why it structurally doesn't work, or at least it doesn't work very well. This video, 5 reasons B2B consultants should not join cheap communities. That's because one of my prospects told me that he's planning to join a community and learn client acquisition there. And I'm very much against that. I don't think this is a very good idea for very specific reasons. And I list those reasons in that video. The next one is because a prospect wanted to dabble in both low and high ticket products at the same time. So I made a video about high ticket or low ticket. You need to make a choice and so on, right? So you see the pattern. Somebody tells me that they are planning to do XYZ. If I believe this is not the right thing, I'm going to make a video about this. And because why? Also, you have to think psychologically. If you have a prospect on the phone, there's very little trust initially. And you say, no, that's not a good idea. Don't join a community. Well, why should they listen to you, right? You don't have any authority. And also there's ego involved. If you tell them, no, don't join a community, and they say, okay, well, then I won't. Nobody does that, right? Most people, self-respecting people, unless you already have a huge amount of clout, they will not listen to you. And so therefore, if you create a video and they have a chance to watch it and absorb it and think about it, and then join a call with you, maybe the second call, the follow-up call, if that is possible, then their ego will be lower. They will have processed the information that you give them in the video on their own time. Their ego will be lowered. They will have processed it, and then they are more likely to accept that you may be right. That's why these videos are so important, especially also because you have time to explain it. they will not be arguing against you because they are listening to what you're saying. Okay, so hope that's clear. And then there's also videos where I want to showcase my expertise and, dare I say, some level of depth of thinking. And this video, what Naval Ravikant taught me about growing a B2B consulting business, that is a good example of it. Right? I put in quite a bit of thought into this, and it combines many different kind of sources of insight, and I think it's quite a unique perspective that I have here. And so most of those videos don't get a lot of views, as you can see, well, except this one. This one got some 400 views, but usually they don't. But they serve the purpose of indoctrinating my prospects between calls. And that is the secret to a good funnel lubricant program. You use those videos as topics for an automated drip that you send to prospects between sales calls. If you cannot close on the first call, schedule a follow-up call, and please do it immediately, okay? Then and there on the first call. Don't send them a scheduling link that they could fill out on their own. And in between these two calls, send them this drip. Of course, you cannot do that on the fly. You have to have those videos already produced to turn them into a lubricant sequence, but simply work your way towards it. Start a YouTube channel, create one good video a week. Choose topics based on what you currently think that prospects might be wrong about, or give you as objections to working with you. And put some effort into this, right? It took me 6 hours to script this very video. It took me 20 hours to script this video, the Get Them Warm video, okay? So that's it. Keep it simple, personalized cold email with a good offer, trust building via YouTube content that you send to prospects between calls. Rinse and repeat over and over again. And that, my friend, is your surefire path and the fastest path to 10K a month if you cannot depend on referrals or you don't want to.